I want to read this to you out of 1 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 14 to 16. Everybody brought the Bible, right? Oh, good. Wow. It says, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judges all things, yet he himself is judge of no man. For who has known the mind of God, of the Lord, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ. And the reason I want to talk about that, because I realize that there are two Christianities in America. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
There are two Christianities in America. And I'm wondering, how do you discern which group is right and which is wrong? All right? Because a lot of folks are fighting battles and saying things, and then they say, well, I'm a Christian, and I'm doing this in the name of God. And as soon as they say that they're a Christian, there's a tendency to want to back down because they said that they're a Christian. And then there are those who say that they're Christians, and they're on the other side of the issue, and they say that they're Christians too. And so I'm wondering, how do we know who really are Christians, you know? How do we know which group of Christians we want to join and be a part of? And I want to use this thing with Trayvon Martin-George Zimmerman as an example, because it's happening now. And I'm not making a decision about George or Trayvon, who was right or who was wrong. I believe that we just should get all the information out there, and that would determine who was right and who was wrong. But I'm looking at these people who are clearly on the side of Trayvon, and I'm listening to some of the things that they are saying. And the first thing that they say is that they are Christians. They say, we are Christians, and I believe in God, and I got to stand up for this. They try to get what they call a social justice movement going. They want to somehow or another create a social justice movement. I don't quite know what that is. Anybody know what that is? You know exactly what it is?
I'm pretty sure I know exactly what it is.
What it is? What is it?
They are trying to override the justice system that's in place with mob rule. So if the mob says different, then the courts have to go with whatever the mob wants.
That's a good point.
Yes.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Close to what it is.
They're trying to circumvent the due
But
process.
I do notice that they keep comparing it to Martin Luther King Jr.'s civil rights movement, but it doesn't quite work for them. I think that's why they came up with the name social justice. This week, they wore these hoodie things to get the little thing going, and they asked people to put the hoodie things on, and it was amazing to me to see that aspect of. Did anybody here wear the hoodies? Don't be ashamed if you wore the hoodies.
No.
Why didn't you wear the hoodies?
Because it didn't make sense to me. All the facts are not out about the case.
Right.
So I'm just waiting to hear all the facts.
Yeah, they look to me, and I'm not speaking. I want disagreement if you disagree. To me, they look dumb in the hoodies.
Well, yeah.
I look at them and I almost think, can't you see that we see that you look stupid in the hoodies? It makes them look like gangbangers and things like that. But they wear the hoodies, and I think it's crazy, but it's the mindset. Because the nature of man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God. So, and I know what that thinking is, because prior to God changing my mind, I would be wearing the hoodie too. I wear it to church and everywhere. But because I was blind and couldn't see, I was operating on the nature of man instead of the spiritual discernment of God. And that's what anger does. It keeps you in that mode. I heard this morning on a report, a man was saying, we got to get this movement going. They said, I noticed that a lot of young black people getting involved. How do we build on this anger? How do we get this social justice movement going while they're together now on this anger? And so they're really trying to get something going. And it doesn't matter, really it doesn't matter about Trayvon or George Zimmerman. It doesn't matter who was right or wrong in this situation. And I think that's why they don't want the information about Trayvon to come out. They don't want us to know his history, because if we had both sides and we knew that this wasn't some little innocent kid running around tiptoeing through the tulips and somebody just came along and shot him, then it would sort of give us both sides and we can make the right decision about what to do. And they really don't want this to come out at all. They're attacking conservatives for that and all kind of things. Another thing I noticed that they're doing, they're comparing Trayvon Martin to a guy by the name of Emmett Till. You ever heard of him?
No.
Emmett Till? Nobody here heard of him?
I've heard of him. Oh, the young boy that was killed years ago?
He had nothing to do with it at all. I was looking at one report, and these people were debating, the experts were debating, and someone said, well, this is not the time for these people to be protesting and marching and acting in this way. And then the liberal person said, that's the same thing they told Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that this wasn't the time. It's not a time for protest. And I'm thinking, wow, it's something else how they are trying to just connect that. But the issue is that these people who are doing these things are calling themselves Christians. They're saying we're Christians, and they have preachers and things marching and rallying with them. And it is confusing to a lot of people, because you're supposed to be the Christians. And they don't want anyone to oppose them or have any say-so, so they work overtime to shut you down. They protest against you. I realize that these people don't want justice. You know, like, I want what is right.
Yes.
I want to be fair for all mankind. You know, that's just, I don't care about the color. I am so not into the color that it may be weird, because I used to be into the color when I had the anger thing, and, you know, it was between me and white folks. So I thought. I was into the color, but now I'm just into what is the right thing to do. What happened here, you know, what is the situation? Even with my family members, I just want to know what is the right thing. I don't care if it's my daddy, my brother, my sister, whatever. Let's see what the truth is. Even with my staff, whenever there's an issue one-on-one, you know, they're fighting one another, I bring them to my office, let's find out what the truth is. And it's hard to find out because for the most part, they won't admit who is wrong. They'll just argue at each other, and they'll put out all this information. I noticed that angry people put out lies. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
They won't tell the real truth about the situation. They'll just make up stuff. Have you noticed that in your own life? Especially if it looks embarrassing to you. You just make up stuff that's not there, and nothing will let you say, well, you know what? Yeah, I'm wrong. I should have done this. And I'm showing you the two different Christians, those who discern because they have the mind of Christ, and those who just gather knowledge from the world, and they call themselves Christian too. And concerning this Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman, I saw women on TV saying, the reporter would ask these black women, why are you here today? Why are you involved in this situation? Well, because I know that there is an attack upon black men, and I have a son. I have a son who's, you know, some kids are little and they become adult one day, and I don't want this attack to happen to my son. I don't want my black son to have to go through this. And I'm thinking to myself, what attack are they talking about? It doesn't exist. And they talk about the white and black situation. And they're implying that America is still back in the 60s and 50s and 40s, and that white folks are still attacking and killing the black male. That's what they're talking about. And I'm thinking, how do you get these people to believe this kind of stuff that doesn't exist? America has changed, and there's nothing else that white folk can do. White Americans are not out there. I don't even think the Klansmen are bothering us anymore, because they don't have to.
We're killing ourselves.
We're killing ourselves. And so they're like totally believing something that's not even true. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I know, like you said, like when they voted Obama in, you said the black folks not going to be satisfied.
That's right.
And just the other day on the radio, Al Sharpton said, you could put a black man in the White House, but a young boy can't walk his own house or something like
Isn't
that.
that something? All that is part of that brainwashing. They're using the past, which doesn't exist anymore, to brainwash the angry Christians and have them saying the same thing because they really can't see that what they're complaining about doesn't exist anymore. It's like being in a relationship and you cause your husband or your wife to become angry and then you're sorry for it and you apologize and you change for it. You don't do it anymore, right? But if the wife or the husband is still angry, they're not going to see that you've changed, especially if you do anything that's kind of look like or say something that look like the same thing. Because they're still mad at you, they would think that you have not changed. Have you noticed that? That's what's going on with this. Most black Americans are still angry. They're angry at not having good parents. They're angry because they've been brainwashed to believe that white folks are still after them. And so when Sharpton and Jackson and others get up and they give a civil rights sermon, it's easy to believe it, even though it's not real. It's stupid. It's dumb, it's crazy, but it's blind. I understand it. How you gonna stand in front of a camera and say, I'm out here because I have a black son and I don't want this to happen to my son? While at the same time, black on black crime is out of control. If anything, I'll be afraid that my son's gonna get killed by another black person, not some racist white person. But they don't see that. You see the different, now, but children of God who can discern because they have the mind of Christ, they see how crazy this is. And abortion, for example, is out of control in the black community. Planned Parenthood, according to blackgenocides.com, 70% of Planned Parenthood abortion mills in the black community. Every day, 1,500 black babies are aborted. True racism, true intent to destroy the black family, the black kids, right? And it's happening every day. Nobody shows up. We had a rally last week. Was it last week? The Catholic Church and Christians got together and did a rally to prevent the government from forcing the church to pass out contraception and things like that, right? And these rallies happen in different states and cities around the country at the same time. So we went downtown LA for the rally. Maybe there were 3 blacks there.
Oh, wow.
And I think the 3 was Billy, my guy, another black man who happened to be there, I didn't know him, and me.
Really?
That was it. And black children are being killed every day, 1,500 of them, every day. And we can't get them to show up for that at all. And you know why? Because the race aspect is not being talked about, so it doesn't motivate the anger in black people and get them geared up to come out to get the bad old white man. That's what, and the media did not show up at all for us. No media coverage at all. Now we had all these people to come together around the country at the same time, holding a rally to stop this mandate, and the media did not show up. The media has decided, liberal media, that it's not going to present the views of the true Christians. It is interesting too because it knows how to present the views of the false Christians. Those are namesake only. They show up for them. Everybody and their mama know about these rallies. But the true Christians, they don't show up. The media did not show up for them. Isn't that amazing? I just wanted to present the true Christians versus those who say that they're Christians and can't see what's going on. And for those who do see what's going on, you just got to start speaking up in your environment, telling the truth. And don't be afraid. And it'll spread. God will make a way for you. He really, really will. Even though Satan is in control of this world, and there are more of his children than there seem to be of God's children, God is still in control. And for those that love him and are willing to take a stand, he'll be there with you. Don't worry about it. And don't let your eyes judge the big situation and make you feel helpless or hopeless to the situation. Greater is he that's in us than he that's in the world. I'm telling you. Don't worry. It looked like we're losing the battle. Doesn't it look like we're losing? because the media show all this other stuff, and here you are always fighting an uphill battle. But we're winning. We are winning. Slowly but surely. They really, really, really are. All right, let me take some questions. Go ahead.
That was a nice speech, and I think it was the same one that George Washington may have given his troops years before they actually won. It's don't worry, we're winning,
That's
even
right.
though they were getting their butts kicked
Yep.
for many years. So that helps. But my niece questioned, she's black. She was talking to another, half black. She was talking to another black woman, and she said, "How come you're not about black on black crime?" And she said, "Because it's us doing it to each other. That's not racism." In other words,
See, that's part of the
the
blindness.
greatest sin that can be done by any person is racism.
Yeah, that's part of the
You can
blindness.
you can murder somebody, but as long as you're not doing it with racist intent, that's okay.
Another dumb thing that I see that they're doing, and you're right about that, but that's just part of the blindness. When I was an angry man, I had the same thought. Well, at least a white man is not doing it. So it's not racism. Isn't that amazing? And you are afraid to walk out of your door. And it's not because the white man is next door, but because of the black man. Another thing that they're doing that is real dumb, they're saying things like, "I am Trayvon." This guy could turn out to be a hoodlum, and they're going around saying, "I am Trayvon." Identify with the exterior instead of what is within. And it seemed all right, these are Christians. Ain't no way. I'm not even Malcolm X nor Martin Luther King. And I respect both of those guys. I am Jesse Peterson. That's it. Dealing with a spiritual battle. God doesn't want us to identify with outside things. He wants us to identify with Him. That's the problem now. Satan got us identified with everything but what is within us. Do not walk around here calling yourself Trayvon. You may end up, I don't know where Trayvon went, but let's say he didn't go to the right place. You're going to be right there with Trayvon. And you're going to go to the pearly white gate, and the angel is going to come down and answer the gate bell. And you're going to have on your hoodie and T-shirt talking about, "I'm Trayvon." They're going to like, "Oh, he went the other way." But I'm just saying that to say, identify with the Spirit of God within. All these things that are happening outside are just things that are happening. That's not who you are. All right? Stand for righteousness' sake. Stand for what is right. I heard a man by the name of T.D. Jakes say this morning, he was being interviewed about forgiveness. And he said, well, some people think that you're not supposed to have anger. You are supposed to forgive so you can let it go, right? But he said, you're still supposed to have anger because Christ was angry and whatever he said, but he said, a little anger won't hurt. And I'm like, what's such a lie? That's a lie. Any anger is bad anger because that's not righteous anger. It's not of God. It will only hurt you and everybody around you. But because he's out there in the media, he has a big name, a lot of folks will fall for that. And they'll beat you down if you tell them to let go of anger. Not understanding that anger is not good. These people who are calling themselves, "I am Trayvon," and wearing the hoodie thing, they are angry people and cannot see. And then they got Satan's big dogs up there, Jackson and Sharpton and all these so-called people, telling them, just feed in that anger. It's when you wake up, you're going to see how dumb it is to let somebody use the so-called civil rights movement to control you. It's not even needed anymore. It's really not needed. It's time for you to start living and thinking for yourself. Living as individuals, judging people based on character and principle. White folks are going through the same thing that everybody else is going through. They're worried about their children, their finance, and you don't mess with white people money. They're worried about how I'm going to hold on to the money because they like to go to fancy hotels and take vacations. While y'all, I am Trayvon trying to take the white man's money. But it's the same spirit. If you are on this earth, you're dealing with the spirit of Satan or God. It had nothing to do with no civil rights movement. You are not Trayvon, and you look stupid wearing a hoodie. One point I want to make, I was talking to somebody this week, and what I realized, even about these people who are protesting about this Trayvon Martin thing, if you don't start paying attention to the little things in your life, these little personal things that you do in life and decisions you make, and when nothing's really big going on, you're not ready when the big thing comes. You'll be easily pulled in then. If you could be aware of your regular daily life, dealing with work and dealing with families and dealing with little situations in life, be aware of yourself just driving down the road before you even get to the person that drives in front of you and cut you off. If you could be aware of why you're doing that, it builds you up. It makes you more conscious of the things to come. And then once you're hit by the big things, you don't overreact to them. But so many people are making bad decisions in their little, in their private lives every day, every minute. And they don't seem to think that that should come first. The way you live is where God is with, God is with you. So if you can pay attention about those little things, that's where the growth began. And so when big things come, and that's what's wrong with these folks here that's marching with this Trayvon thing, right? They are not paying attention to the little things, what seem like little things in life. So the devil comes along with a major thing, they're on board right away because they are not strong enough to stand back for a moment and observe the situation so you can see the right thing to do. But pay attention to those little things that are happening. I'm telling you, paradise is lost and found in mind and with us. It's already here, it's already at hand. But when you get away from the thoughts, and don't force yourself to do it, but I love to get away from the temptations of Satan. He's telling you all this stuff. It's crazy to think that the civil rights movement is still going on. It's crazy to think that white people are still after you because of your color. It's not even happening, but if you have anger, Satan's children who are stronger than you can influence you of that, and then Satan just ride with you on it and make you believe that is right. You don't even have to worry about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear. If you get into that, you create a problem. Just get up and do the right thing, go to work, save your money, be wise, you'll be fine. And don't look at the big media bringing out all of Satan's children, or Satan will tell you, look how we're losing. You might as well get you a rock and hide behind it, it's over. That's Satan telling you that. That's not God telling you that. We're going to win this battle. Slowly but surely. And when we win, it's won. It's over. All right? The fat lady did her thing. When we win. Did this help a little bit?
It did. Yes.
Just be aware of little things in your life. Let me just say, folks, get over the anger. Don't let anyone make you believe, cause you to believe that anger is good. Never good. It's of the devil. And some people may mean well by that, but it's not true. But most importantly, keep an eye on yourself. All right? And when you pray, shut up, be quiet, and let God guide you. Thank you for tuning in. And speak up. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.